Hey everyone, it's Jeremy here, and I'm going to bring to you another video. This is going to be a top 5 video, and this is going to be the top 5 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. So, the MCU, it's kind of crazy that they have now, I believe it's going to be 13 movies that they've made so far. And they have come a long way. And this weekend, the new one, Captain America Civil War, comes out. I thought I'd just make a video relating to Marvel. So I thought I'd do the top 5. Now, before I get into the top 5, I wanted to name some honorable mentions. Ant-Man, which came out in 2015, was actually a pretty solid movie. I enjoyed it. It wasn't great, but I think Paul Rudd was fine as Ant-Man, and it was a good installment in the MCU. It just wasn't enough to do on the top 5 list. And also The Incredible Hulk, which came out in 2008, was the second movie that came out in the Marvel Universe. Now this one is a solid movie too. Edward Norton is the Hulk in it. I just thought it just seems like the most different out of all the MCU movies. I don't know why. It really didn't do that well financially, and but it's still a good movie. It just wasn't enough to be on the top 5. So here we go. Thor. Now Thor came out in 2011. Chris Hemsworth was casted as Thor, and he's a really good Thor. He's been really one of the best characters in the whole MCU. He plays the part really well. He just looks like Thor. And he does a good job in the movie. I like how this movie brings you into the world of Asgard, and you get to see Loki there. He's great. He becomes the villain in future movies. Odin, the guy, I think Anthony Hopkins plays him. All the characters are really good in this. I would just say that this film, it kind of lags when Thor gets to the Earth, and it's kind of like now he has to try to find his hammer, and it's not like a whole lot going on, but I like how it's set up. I like how they show you Asgard, and once he finally gets his hammer back, he has to, it's that fish out of water story where he's thrown from what he knows into the earth, and people are trying to figure out who he is, like he's talking like he's from another world, which he is. But it's a good setup. S.H.I.E.L.D. is in it. I know that Hawkeye actually makes an appearance in it. So it's a good movie that continues the story of where they're eventually leading. Obviously at this time they're leading up to the big Avengers movie, but Thor is a good, solid movie. So that was my number 5. Captain America, the First Avenger. Now, when I first saw this movie, when I first saw this movie, I didn't think it was that great. I thought it was kind of slow in the beginning, and it kind of took a while to build up. But then after I saw it again the second time, it was really, I really enjoyed it the second time, because you get to see Steve Rogers, who's played by Chris Evans, who he's actually, at first when he was casted, I was a little skeptical, but he's grown into the role now. He's a great Captain America. And, it shows his character, it shows him grow as a character, it shows his backstory, and what's going on. He's the skinny kid who wants to be in the army, but he can't because of, he has asthma, he's just weak, he can't be in the army, but it's his heart, it's his will to want to fight for freedom and to do what's right and to fight the bullies, which pretty much makes him the one chosen for the project, for the Super Soldier Project. But it's a good origin story, it really is. And then once it gets into the action, they do a good job of it. It kind of does rush right into the action. It starts with the montages and all that. As far as it's a good period piece. It's set in World War II, and they did a really good job of it. Joe Johnston directed this one. He directed movies I think he directed Jurassic Park 3, other movies. He's a decent director, but it was a good installment, and for me, it's definitely a really good movie when I watch it. When I watch it even now, it's a really good movie. So, number 4, The First Avenger. So now, number 3 on the list I have as the one that started it all with Iron Man. Iron Man which came out in 2008, really started off amazing. It started this MCU really well. Robert Downey Jr. really is a great Iron Man. He really, I can't picture really anybody else playing him. He, in that first movie, it's another good origin movie. It shows when he's captured by the terrorists. I forget what country he's in, but they're forcing him to build this Jericho missile that he created because he makes all the weapons for the military, I believe. He's very smart. He's able to create weapons and everything. So when he's in this cave, he makes the Iron Man suit, which that whole sequence is great, and then it shows an escape, and then now he's created this suit like, hey, I can do something with this. He creates Iron Man, and the action is good. I think this really, out of the Iron Man movies, it's without a doubt the best one. I know the guy Jon Favreau directed Iron Man, and I would say the villain is weak in it. The guy Jeff Bridges, that's the one thing that's kind of lacking in the movie. And the ending, I would say it's really not a great finale to it. It's kind of just mediocre or just cliche or whatever. But overall, it's a good movie. I like the tone. The music's actually really good in it too. But it was a good start to Marvel, because if this movie failed, all of these other movies, we probably wouldn't have been getting any of them. So Iron Man 1, definitely the best, one of the best. It's my number 3 movie in the MCU. Number 2 I have is The Avengers. The Avengers, really, what I remember, it was such a great experience watching it, especially in the theater. I think the best scene in the movie is the ending scene with the final fight, the final battle, where you get to see all these aliens come down, and then now it's just the Avengers fighting them all. It really was an amazing scene to see, or amazing sequence to see in the theater. But overall, the characters are great. What's great in the movie is that you got to see each of these characters before. It wasn't like the Avengers was made and now this is the first time we've seen them. We got to see Iron Man, we got to see Captain America, and the Hulk, even though in this one Mark Ruffalo plays the Hulk. We got to see Thor. Even we got to see Black Widow a little bit. And we did get Hawkeye. Hawkeye is the least character we've seen, but even him, when he's in the movie, he's not bad. So overall, and then Loki's a villain in it. He's great. I would say it is one of those movies that's made to please everybody. Like there's comedy in it. There's action, adventure. It's fun. It's a popcorn movie, but they do it well. It's done well. It's exactly what we needed to see, and I was satisfied, very satisfied with it, especially the final sequence, the battle. So the Avengers, it's definitely, and then also just seeing the characters together on screen really was an achievement, because no movie had done that before. No comic book movie had ever done that. A lot of people were dreaming to see that, but it was like, you never knew it could actually happen. And then when it was done, it's like, wow, like this is an event. So number 2, The Avengers. The number 1 movie of the MCU, without a doubt, in my opinion, is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, the reason why is because I believe just because of the directing. Like the Russo brothers were signed on to this movie, and they really weren't known. Like they did TV mostly, like TV shows. And when they were signed to direct this, I'm like, I just thought, oh, what are they, comedy directors? They're going to make this into a comedy or something. But then when The Winter Soldier, before it came out, when they released clips of it and the trailers, like it looked really good. I'm like, wow, like this, like the tone is great. And I think that's what's great throughout, the directing and the tone. The tone is very serious for the most part. Yeah, there is some jokes, but it's good comedy. It's comedy that's put in when needed, or when that's just right. It's not overboard. It's not overkill. But when it needs to be serious, this movie is phenomenal. And Chris Evans as Captain America really, he grows so much in this movie as Captain America. And then the action that he does in it, you really see him for the super soldier that he is. He's like kicking guys off boats and throwing his shield everywhere and doing all these flips, and like just the action is so awesome in this, especially the highway scene with the Winter Soldier showing up, and then you have the big fight. The fighting is amazing. It's just awesome. It's definitely the best fighting in any superhero movie to come out. It's without a doubt the best fighting. The best fist fights. That the choreography is excellent. So and then the story is good. Hydra is brought back into this, and it's done so well. Hydra was in S.H.I.E.L.D. and no one knew it, and it was this big secret. It was a conspiracy theory movie, pretty much, with Hydra, and it was really done well. But just the tone, I think what separates it from all the rest is the tone. It is serious, and it is well done. And overall, it's such a great movie, and for any comic book fans who probably maybe haven't seen it yet, that you really need to watch it. It's a good movie, and it's a movie, it's not like it's, so when I first saw it, I was a little bit like, okay, I couldn't understand everything that was going on. Like, there's a lot going on in the story, you have to pay attention to it. But then when I saw it again in future times, it's like, yes, you get it, you understand what's going on. But overall, Winter Soldier has to be the #1. Now, Civil War comes out this weekend. I'm sure that's going to be in the list. I can already tell by watching the trailers and the footage and stuff. It's going to be probably one of the best MCU movies so far. So, but anyway, guys, that's my list of the top 5 MCU movies. Maybe eventually when we get, who knows how many more of these, maybe I'll make a top 10. But anyway, that's my list, guys. What are your thoughts? What's your top 5? Maybe are there some on here I didn't have that you liked more or whatever? Just let us know, and thanks again for watching. Have a good day.